Welcome back to more Daredevil madness. Found out one of my friends, although I don't think I'm ever going to speak to her again, she also likes Daredevil. She saw my wallpaper, and she was like, oh, I love Matt Murdock. And I was like, not as much as me, but okay. I should not be considering rewatching this show. I just finished it. But I am, just to feel something, anything. Same reason I watched all of the Salmonella Academy videos over and over and over again, and why I've seen Castlevania 3 times, and why I've seen Dairy Girls 6 times, and why I've seen Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood 9 times. So yeah, maybe I just really like familiar things, and when I do get into something good, I have to rewatch it like 1,000 times, till it is like literally burned into my brain. Yeah, okay, anyway. So I talked about Jack and Maggie in the last installment, so I'm going to talk about Stick and Electra. So, Stick is this, like, definitely, like, 80, 90-year-old man. He is blind. He has similar abilities to Matt, but it isn't clear whether he was born with those abilities, because he was born blind. It isn't clear to me whether he was born with those abilities, or if he, like, developed them or trained to have them. So I don't really know what that's about. Anyway, so he's trying to fight a war against an organization called the Hand. They're immortals who... This is gonna sound really cracked out, but you know what? It is. It really is. They were a part of a society called Kunlun, which is where Iron Fist is from, and they left, right? He also left, but it was different. They left, and they started this so they could be immortal forever, or whatever. And basically they survive off of this this thing they call the substance that you can find in like dragon skeletons. That and they needed to steal the Iron Fist so that he could open the door that's sealed by another Iron Fist, so that they could get to the dragon skeleton. This is absolutely out of whack, and it has nothing to do with Daredevil at all, but anyway, Stick found Matt because he was trying to recruit him, right? He tries to train him, but Matt is 9 years old. His dad just died. He was blinded, and his dad died in the same year. He has had the worst life. And this dude, who he relates to because they have the same disability, and he's trying to teach him all these things, like how to fight, and how to do, like martial arts, which, what 9-year-old doesn't want to learn that? And, sorry, it's like, he's trying to turn Matt into a soldier. But then Matt makes him a little bracelet, because he's adorable. And he, like I said, he calls him a pussy and leaves. But he basically tells him, there's something else I can train you for. And he just literally runs away. And Matt is just like, okay, I'm never forgetting that. Oh look, a core memory. He's definitely the only person who straight up rejected him. Well, actually, I was about to say Electra, but no, she never did. So he tries to make him into a soldier, but Matt is a kid. He wants a new dad, and he sees Stick that way. He trained Electra, well, he raised Electra, but, he raised her to be like him, and, like, a soldier, and she was different than Matt. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so, Stick, there's a line in Defenders that he says, he says that, he's talking to the other, vigilantes that are in this group. So Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, whatever. He's talking to them, and he says, and they're asking about Elektra, right? Because she literally tried to murder Danny Rand in a freaking sewer in Cambodia. And okay, I'm gonna get to the Elektra thing, but they were asking about Elektra, and he was like, oh yeah, she's like the closest thing I had to family. Well, you know, other than Maddie. And Matt is brooding in the corner, so he doesn't really pay attention to it. But that line rubbed me the wrong way. Because I was like, Matt's not your family. You stuck around maybe like a couple months at most before you straight up abandoned him. I don't care that you kept the bracelet. And literally when he shows up, Matt just starts laughing in his face. He's like, I don't care. And then he's like sad when Elektra stabs Stick. Yeah, Stick dies. Spoilers. But, he died. Anyway, so, but he's like upset, but he's not really bothered by it. He's just like, oh well, forget about that poor son of a bitch anyway. But he just freaking, he's just like, oh, she killed Stick. No, so sad. Oh well, and just moves on. Like Stick, and part of that line is kind of like really sweet because it's like, aw, maybe he did really see Matt like a son. But then on the other hand, if he really cared about Matt, why did he just straight up leave? Sus. Anyway, so that's basically all I have on Stick, because he just is that emotionally closed off. We'll hardly get anything out of him. He's more important, not even to Daredevil, he's more important for, like, Iron Fist and stuff, because Iron Fist, like, the hand is his problem. So Elektra. Moving on. Elektra, raised by Stick to be a warrior. Secretly, this thing called the Black Sky, basically, to activate it, they have to have... There was another kid that was Black Sky that Stick actually murdered. Like, he was a child and he murdered him. Much to Matt's dismay, because he drug him out there to help him. He didn't want Stick to kill the kid, but he did. And of course, Nobu was pissed off, because he was like, ah, but I was so close, are you kidding me? So, and then Nobu got burned alive and then brought back, and they didn't explain it, but I know how. It's because of the substance, which they used to bring Elektra back. Anyway, so Elektra dies because she gets, like, stabbed by one of the hand guys. Even after they straight up tell her, like, hey, yeah, you're Black Sky. And she's like, oh my god, what? Stick never told me that. It's because Stick doesn't tell anybody anything. He hates everybody. So, basically she's sent by Stick to find Matt, because I guess he's really hurting for people to fight for him. So, he believes he can push Matt over the edge, right? Matt doesn't kill people. He believes he can get Elektra to get him to kill someone. So, Elektra, I guess, plants herself at Columbia University and hunts down the blind guy and starts dating him, or pretending to care about him so that he dates her. Whether she actually liked him, she did actually love him, but, like, it doesn't matter, because she never really acted like it. Anyway, so they date for a while, and one day, because she was adopted by a rich family after her training was completed, you know, she takes Matt to this place. It's like somebody's house, and she says it's one of the guys that works for her dad. Her adopted dad. But, and she's like, oh yeah, he's not here. We're just gonna, you know, I don't know, have sex on his counter. And so then he comes home, and Matt's like, what is happening? What's going on? And she's like, give me a sec. She ties the guy to a chair, beats him up, ties him to a chair. And then she brings Matt out there, and he's like, what's going on? What have you done? And she's like, oh, Matt, you don't recognize him? He's like, I'm blind. She's like, he's the guy that had your father killed. It was. The annoying Irish dude that dresses like a leprechaun for some reason. And he's like, okay. She's like, don't you hate him? Beat him up. And he's like, sure. So he does, because he's pissed off, obviously. And then she hands him a knife. And he's like, what exactly do you want me to do? She's like, I want you to kill him, right? You still hate the guy. He's like, I just beat the crap out of him. That's all I got, you know? That's all I got in me. Basically, she couldn't do it. And he was like, no, Elektra, I can't kill him. And she, literally, he, like, starts crying a little bit, and then she, like, literally, he turns around and she's gone. And he never sees her again until season 2, when she comes back. Keep in mind, he's, like, 30 when that happens, so he hasn't seen this woman in ages, and she just shows up out of the blue. Anyway, so that's their backstory. She ends up telling Stick, she's like, he's weak, he can't do it. And he's like, well, that's because you didn't push him hard enough, and because you're in love with him, you stupid whore. And anyway, so she is a soldier. She does like to kill people. She, when she comes back to his life, he tries to push her away. He's like, Elektra, I hate you. I don't want to talk to you ever again. You are the worst. He asks her why she left, and she didn't really give him a straight answer. He helps her because the city's in danger and whatever. But he's very adamant, like, this ends. The second this is done, I don't want to see you ever again. She even, like, pays his law firm, and Foggy's like, oh my god, money! And Matt's like, don't spend it. Don't. And then when he finally comes clean, he's like, yeah, Elektra's back, and this is what I've been doing. In the bathroom, when they were supposed to, like, right after Frank Castle, and the reason he was late to trial was because he was hanging out with Elektra. And again, he could have gotten disbarred for that if this were real life. Like, and straight up, Foggy gets so pissed off at him. But I really like that scene, because Foggy gets really mad. He's like, you lied. Again, stop lying to me, man. Like, we're in this together. You have got to be honest with me. You think I was going to go around blabbing? Like, why don't you trust me? Valid. And Matt is, like, trying to explain himself. Also, again, yeah, okay. And then Foggy's like, I'm not doing this. And he walks away. And Matt, like, grabs him and is like, you are not walking away from me. He does anyway. So, yeah. Nelson Murdoch ended because they had an argument in the bathroom of a courthouse. And, yeah, that was the end of it. Literally. After that, Karen was like, oh my god, you guys will work it out. It's fine. And then they were like, no, we're selling our building. No. Forget Nelson Murdoch, it's over. Like, seriously, it was over. She dies. Anyway, at the end, final fight, she dies. Then the Hand brings her back using the substance to turn her into the Black Sky, and that's how he ends up in the basement of a literally exploding building with her, and then, he, somehow miraculously survives. And I'm tempted to believe that she also somehow miraculously survived, because we never saw a corpse. And you know the rules. If you don't see a corpse, they ain't dead. Alright, that's how it goes. He loves her so much, it is so painful to watch, like, everything unfold. It is so stupid. Because, like, he literally nearly dies for her time and time and time again, and he does everything. He is so down bad. And then Elektra literally refused to listen to him in the building until the very last second, when she knew that they were both gonna die down there. Bro, she sucks. I feel like that was her way of, like, if she did in fact survive that, most likely, that was like her way of being like, he'll never see me again. He'll never see me again. That's basically what she was like. Okay, because we still have some extra time left, we're gonna talk about, I don't know if I actually have time, because Foggy and Carrington's sections are so loud, so long. I am going to talk about another person, though. Claire. So Claire is a nurse who finds Matt half dead in a dumpster. No hyperbole, completely accurate. They have the best romance in the entire show. Okay, yes, I know Karen is like, you are so messed up in the head, right? And I can't keep getting involved with you, because if I do, I am straight up going to fall in love with you. And I can't have that happening. I cannot be tethered to you. And he's like, fine, be that way. And so she leaves, and her thing was like, he's a vigilante. I can't be around him. Who does she date? Luke Cage, also a vigilante. What on earth is going through this woman's head? What on earth? I just don't get it. Pisses me off. Anyway, I loved Claire. She was the only woman that he actually just, like, needed to be around. Karen, that did not work at all. Not at all. And honestly, there was no tension between them at all. There's no chemistry. I felt nothing the entire time. Except for that, like, one episode where they did go on the date, because it was a really sweet episode. The entire time I was like, this would be great if it was literally anybody else, someone else, please. It doesn't work with Karen. Anyway, it was good, because they're great actors. It's very sweet, very well written episode, great moments all around, but I didn't like him and Karen together at all. They were both lying to each other about literally everything. Like, they don't know each other at all, because both of them have been lying from day one about who they are. Why on earth? And the only reason he kept her around is so he could figure out what she was lying about. This is not, like, they forced it because she's the main girl and he's the main guy. And they just threw Foggy with Marcy again for no reason. Like, Foggy and Karen should have been together. He's the forgiving one. Like, are you kidding me? Anyway, so Claire, I don't have a lot, but she was the only one who was actually good for him, right? Because she helped him out when he needed it. They had actual chemistry and really good moments. And plus, like, when she got captured by the Russian guys and he saved her, that moment where they, like, hugged, that was so good. It was so sweet. And the fact he'd, like, do anything for her is so nice. And literally the only reason they stopped, like, being friends, okay, they kissed once, right? And she was, like, staying in his apartment with him for a while for, like, safety reasons. And basically she, like, realized, she was like, you are really emotionally unavailable. And you keep throwing yourself into danger because you're a vigilante, and that's not good for me. That's not good for you? Okay, then why did you date Luke Cage immediately after? Question, what the heck? So, liar, first of all. Anyway, that was really sloppy. Like, and I wish that, they were the best, and I'm so mad that happened. Wow, I still have time. Okay, this is just gonna be shorter because everything else I have is so long. Foggy and Karen's is like that much, which isn't that much, honestly. And Foggy's is that. So they're both like really big chunks of writing and really long. So I have Foggy, Karen. Oh boy. Who is that? Oh. And Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin. Yeah, those are the only 3 left. I'm gonna make Fisk his own thing. Fisk gets his own video because completely. Foggy and Karen will be next. They're my favorites, I think. Just, I don't really. I said I don't like Karen. I don't really like Karen at all. She just isn't. Obviously, also that happened to her wasn't her fault. Like, she's completely exempt from that. I joked about it, but, like, who cares? She just makes everything worse. And especially in Defenders, when basically, after Matt tells her, he's like, I'm Daredevil. First of all, how did she not know that? You think am I the only one who thinks it's weird that a vigilante, who you've previously met only once, would caress your face if he didn't, I don't know, make out with you the other night? I feel like she should have known. First of all, literally, you almost had sex with this man and you're going to sit there and act like you had no idea. She knew. But then she had the audacity to be surprised about it. Girl. Also, the Punisher barely knew Matt, and he knew it was Matt. When he met Matt as Matt, he knew he was Daredevil. He knew it. He had to have known. He's not an idiot. Anyway, that was stupid of her to even, like, consider that he may not, like, obviously it was Matt. And then she just was like, he's got to... she treats him like an addict, but, like, she has been, so she kind of gets it, right? She knows that he's an addict, because she has been one. Of course, drugs and adrenaline are different, but yeah, I said this video is going to be a little shorter. It's definitely not. You know what? I should save this for the video where I talk about Karen. Probably. Let me finish my thought. She, is like, man, Matt was doing so good. What is wrong with him? How dare he go back? He's such a bad friend. You're a bad friend. For, I don't know, being mad at him for trying to help you. And she acts like she doesn't stick her nose in a crime constantly. She acts like she didn't, in the end, make it harder for Matt because of her existence. Literally, she's the reason that Father Lantom died. Okay, not really. Yes, technically it's her fault, but you know what? We're gonna talk about it in the next video. Stay tuned. If you're actually following this, nobody is watching this video. I don't care. This is for me and for me only. So yeah. Thank you for watching this monstrosity if you did. If not. Okay. Bye.